Hello, first graders. It's me, Miss Nolte. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about suffixes. So, we talked before school closed, we talked about prefixes like this. We did re, like in the word reheat, and we did un, like in the word untie, and we also did pre, like preheat. Okay, so remember, a prefix was something that went before a word and it changed the meaning of the word a little bit. So if I reheat something, that means I'm heating it again. So re means to do something again. If I untie my shoe, can't untie my shoe today because I'm wearing sandals, but if I untie my shoe, that means my shoe is not tied. It's the opposite of tied. So un means not. Preheat means I do something before. So if I preheat the oven, that means I heat the oven before I put something in there. Okay, so we talked about these a little bit before school closed, and you've done some practice with those at home. Suffixes are exactly like a prefix, except instead of going before the word, they come after the word, okay? So these are the 4 suffixes that we're going to be working with today. The first one is F-U-L, full, and if you put full at the end of the word, that means that it's full of something, okay? Less. If you put less at the end of the word, that means that something is without that. It doesn't have that anymore. L-Y is kind of tricky. L-Y means in that way or in a certain way. And that's going to be kind of confusing until I give you some examples. So if that one confuses you, just wait a minute. I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, and O-R can sometimes be used as a suffix at the end of the word, and O-R means a person who does that thing. Okay, now some of these are hard to explain because we don't have any words in front of them yet, but once we put some words in front of them, it might make more sense to you. So let's start with full. For full means that it's full of that. So for example, if something is beautiful, that means that you have something that's full of beauty or something that's really pretty. If you have someone who is very playful, they're full of play. They like to play a lot. Okay, so full means you're full of something. Beautiful, you're full of beauty. Playful, you're full of play. You like to play. Okay? We also have less. So with less, an example of that one is you can be helpless, which means you're without any help. You can't do anything without help. Helpless. You could also be hopeless, which means you're without hope. Some of you might be hopeless that you're never going to get to go somewhere again, but we'll get there eventually. Hopeless means without hope, okay? This L-Y one is one that might be confusing, but it's actually one that you use a lot more than the other ones. Full and less are usually used with a lot of bigger words. The L-Y is used with a lot more words that you might know. So for example, I can write a word on the board very quickly. If I wrote it quickly with the L-Y, it means I did it in a quick way. I was quick. I wrote quickly. Or I could write something slowly. That time I wrote the word slowly. slowly with ly and at the end means I did it in a slow way. So when you were watching, you might have noticed I wrote that word really slowly, which means it took me longer to write this word than it did when I wrote quickly. I could also talk very loudly, which means I'm talking in a very loud way. Or I could start speaking very softly. And if I'm speaking softly in a soft way, you might not be able to hear me as well. Okay? So then the last one is this OR suffix. Now, OR is also a little bit tricky. So this is what this one means. If you have a sailor is a person who sails on a boat or a ship. A sailor is a person who sails. Okay? Another one is you might have someone in your family or you yourself might be some kind of collector. A collector with the OR at the end is a person who collects things. Okay? So when you're trying to figure out what a word with a suffix means, you're usually going to use the same words that they already gave you. Okay, so if I was doing quickly again, and someone asked me what quickly meant, I wouldn't say fast, because that's not what it's asking you. Really what they want you to do is they want you to break the word into pieces to tell them what it means. So ly means in a way, and then I have quick. So quickly means in a quick way. Okay, so you're not going to totally change the word to explain to someone what it means. I think once you have a little bit more practice with this in your reading packet and in your Blue Phonics workbook, hopefully it will make a little bit more sense to you. I just wanted to give you some quick examples and remind you of when we were doing prefixes to let you know it's almost the same thing, but instead of it being at the beginning of the word, it goes at the end of the word. So just remember, when you're trying to explain what a word with a suffix means, they're looking for you to use the same words that are already in the word they gave you. They don't want you to come up with new words to give an answer, okay? So you're going to see these on your test on Friday too, and you're going to see it in your reading packet and your Blue Phonics workbook. So you need to know what these suffixes mean. So you need to know that if a word ends with full, F-U-L, it means it's full of something, which these ones are kind of easy to remember because it's the same word. If it's less, it means you're without it, you don't have it. Ly means you're doing it in that way, like you're doing it quickly or you're doing it softly or loudly, okay? And OR, it makes the word a person who does that thing, like sailor or collector, okay? So that's suffixes. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you for watching. I miss you. Bye.